morning, everyone. My name is Angie Toman. I'm the owner of Living Balance Studios here in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And I welcome you to this beginning yoga and Pilates class. It's a fusion of the two. And I've had some requests to go back and to the basics for people who are newer to these practices. They're very complementary. I often get asked, what is the difference between yoga and Pilates? And that's fairly hard to do in a nutshell, but basically, Joseph Pilates designed Pilates to support the spine. He believed that the spine is supported, the body would be healthy. And so most of your Pilates exercises are going to focus on strengthening core, abdominal, the entire abdominal wall, the oblique waist muscles, and also all through the back muscles, the muscles that wrap into and support the spine. So we're going to be focusing in Pilates on those muscles that wrap the spine. This is why Pilates is such a wonderful tool if you have any kind of back issues, because really understanding how to use the muscles to support your spine can be very beneficial. So that is the main foundation and basis of Pilates, although there's much more to it, but we won't go into that today. Joseph Pilates did study yoga as he was creating Pilates, so you will see crossover poses such as cat-cow, which are both in yoga and in Pilates. Yoga, of course, has many different forms, as most of us know now in the United States, but the physical form, which is the one we are focused on, is about strengthening, about balance, and about flexibility. So uniting all of those things to bring us more strength with more flexibility with better balance. So there's lots of different moves in yoga. And of course, there are many yoga poses that strengthen the core as well and the back. So again, that's just a nutshell of the difference between the two. They're very complementary. At Living Balance Studios, we do a lot of classes that fuse the two of those together because people like getting both of them at the same time instead of having to come take one class in yoga, one class in Pilates. So again, this is going to be a beginning class so that we can kind of go back to the basics and help you understand the two different pieces of that. Having said that, again, this is Living Balance Studios. I want you to take care of yourself, pay attention to your body. I will give you modifications, but always take modifications as is necessary for you. Always take breaks if you feel like something is too much for you. We want you to challenge yourself, but we want you to take care of yourself. And if this is your first time in this type of class, you're not going to do it all today. You've got a long journey ahead of you to really enjoy these practices and the benefits that will come to your body from these practices. So don't try to do it all in one day. Give yourself time. Keeping in mind that you, by taking this class, are taking on the risk of any kind of injury to your body. Living Balance Studios and myself, Angie Toman, personally are not liable for any injuries that might occur. So again, please, please take care of your body. We are going to possibly use two props today. One is a long, thin bolster. So if you have some sort of couch cushion or something like that that works like this, grab that. If you don't, if you have a big towel that you can roll up, it will have the same effect. So if you can, grab something like that. I'm going to be using a block. All I'm looking for is something that you can squeeze between your knees. So it could be, again, a cushion that's a little firm, maybe a book, it could be a ball, whatever you might have at home that you might be able to draw between your knees. We'll use that when we're really understanding the Pilates breath. So if you could get those two things, also I recommend getting some water You'll probably want some water throughout our practice. And I will be drinking water throughout our practice, so grab that. And if you don't have those things, I'll give you just a minute to see if you can locate those things, and we will get started. Now, the first thing we need to talk about are the two different breaths. The main breath in yoga is called Ujjayi breathing, also known as ocean breath. So I'd like you to try this by simply taking the deepest breath you can in through your nose. And then when you exhale through your mouth, whisper a ha sound. So it sounds like so we inhale through the nose, and in yoga, we want to think about the lungs expanding as much as they possibly can, like two big balloons. And when you exhale, so it should kind of be the sound of the tide rolling in and rolling out, and that's why this is known as ocean breath. So we breathe in through the nose. We breathe out through the mouth. Now I want you to take a moment here for me. Take a deep breath in through your nose. When you breathe out, I want you to put your hand in front of your mouth and send that ha vibration out. I want you to notice the heat on your hand as you breathe out. So do that again, inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the mouth. Now, in yoga, for the most part, we breathe in and out through the nose. So now you're going to breathe in through the nose, but when you breathe out, I want you to take that same ha vibration, but let it travel over your nasal passage and out of your nose, keeping your mouth closed. Now, of course, if you've got allergies or your nose is stopped up, then you'll breathe through your mouth because we want to breathe, obviously. But if you can, close your mouth gently and send that ha vibration over your nasal passages and out of your nose. Let's try that a few times. Let's bring one hand to our heart. Let's bring the other hand to our belly. And see when you inhale if you can fill up into both hands. And when you exhale, you can empty and release through both hands. So trying that again, we inhale, filling up the belly, the ribs, the chest. We exhale, emptying from the chest, from the ribs, from the belly. So this Ujjayi breathing is designed to be a very calm, soothing, relaxing breath. We use it to slow our heart rate. We use it to lower blood pressure. We use it to calm our nerves, calm our nervous system. So right now, with everything that's going on in our world, this might be a very good breath to come to many times during the day. Maybe taking about 5 to 10 of these breaths can really bring you back down when you start to feel anxious and nervous. Now, why did I have you bring your hand in front of your mouth a moment ago? We're going to do the same breath, except we're only breathing through the nose. I want you to notice how the exhale feels different, or if you notice a difference with it. So again, we're inhaling through the nose. We're going to exhale through the nose into our hand. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the nose into our hand. So what you may notice is when you breathe out of your nose, you don't release near as much body heat. It is not as warm on the exhale through your nose as it is through your mouth. So that's why we try to keep the breath only in and out through the nose, so that even if we're moving slowly, we're keeping that body heat we're creating by our motion internal and circulating so that the body stays warm. Now, having said that, if you're doing a yoga practice and you start to feel overheated, then simply take a few big sigh outs through the mouth, let some of that body heat out, and then you're ready to go again. So that's our yoga breath. So when I cue you during our practice and say yoga breath, then that's where you're going to come to, that nice, deep, long breath in and out through your nose. All right, Pilates breath, let's move to that for a moment. It's a very different breath. We're still inhaling through the nose, so we still fill up through the nose. But the exhale is through pursed lips, as if you're blowing out one of those candles that's really hard to blow out. So it's a strong breath. So it's in through the nose. The exhale is a strong breath out through the mouth. So what happens during that exhale? During that exhale, that's where our abdominal engagement occurs. So bring both hands to your belly, and I want you to cough for me. Do you feel that muscle that kicks every time you cough? That is your transversus abdominis. That is the most anterior abdominal wall. So it's behind the rectus abdominis. We don't use it as much unless we're doing Pilates, but what that muscle does, it is really the muscle that wraps and supports the spine. So we want to learn how to use the transversus. So how do we do that? We do that with that exhale that's really strong. So when we take our next exhale, I want you to imagine you're putting on a pair of pants. Now these pants don't have Lycra and stretchy stuff in them like we have nowadays. These are the old jeans that were very stiff and did not give. And when you zip them up, if they were tight, you had to squeeze everything in to get that zipper to pull you in, right? We didn't have all this flexion that we have now. So take an inhale through your nose. See if you can exhale. And as you do, zip up your belly. Think of squeezing in. If you're ladies, if you know Spanx or girdles, I want you to think about that. Each time you exhale, your Spanx or your girdle are drawing you in, tightening you in. I've asked men how this feels. They say, think about when you're walking into cold water and what happens as you walk and get deeper in that cold water. You begin to lift everything up and in as you get deeper into the water. So that's the feeling that we want. We want, ladies, if you'll think about the Kegel muscles, it starts from the Kegel muscles, it draws in. Gentlemen, if you'll think about walking toward cold water and you're anticipating and you're tightening your body in. So here's the thing, here's the trick with this. You inhale through the nose, you exhale through the mouth, you engage and tighten and wrap your spine. Now on your next inhale, you don't get to let that go. You stay tight right there. Pilates breath is in the rib cage, in the upper back, and in the chest. The rib cage, the upper back, and the chest. It does not go down into the belly like yoga breath does. This whole area stays tight. I'm not going to allow my breath down into there. I'm going to hold that tight. So, a couple of things before we get started. Or Pilates breath when you first start can make you very dizzy. So if you find yourself getting dizzy, simply release the Pilates breath, take a few breaths, and come back to it. We're going to be mainly on the ground today, so even if you start to get dizzy, you're not going to fall anywhere. You're already on the ground, so you don't have to worry about that too much. I'm going to switch you back and forward between the breaths as we practice. I will cue that. Please do not get frustrated with yourself. It is very confusing at first to get these two breaths. I tell most people it takes about 3 to 6 months to really understand the Pilates breath. So have a little bit of grace with yourself today as you practice this. The Pilates breath is a good breath to practice on your own during the day, not when you're driving, not when you're balancing somewhere, but when you could be sitting down somewhere. And just using the breath will strengthen your core without even doing any of the exercises. That's why in Pilates, you don't have to do tons of reps. You don't need them. You do a few, you do the engagement, you're paying attention to what your body is doing, and you're good. You will get plenty of workout from that. So let's get ourselves started. So we're going to start on our back. So just go ahead and lie down on your mat. We'll bring the feet comfortably to the ground. We'll have the knees pointed up. Arms out, palms down. If you're feeling like you need to be grounded today, you need to be steady. Palms up if you're ready to just receive the energy that you are creating. Let your shoulders relax back. We're going to begin with a yoga breath first. So I want you to take an inhale. Remember, we're letting the lungs fill up like 2 big balloons as much as we can. Inhaling into the nose. We're exhaling through the nose, sending that ha vibration over the nasal passages and out of the nose. Continue to breathe. Continue to open your lungs. As we do this, everyone, notice without changing how your back touches the earth. Our back has natural curves. So likely there are parts of your back that really feel like they're pressing and touching down into the earth. And there are parts of your back that are not even on the ground at all. This is your natural curve. As we breathe with our yoga breath, no judgment, no changing it, just notice. Just become aware. We're going to stay with this breath and do what's called windshield wiper. So with our feet a little wide on our mat, we'll drop both knees over to the right side. Let your knees fall to the earth as much as they will. And then gently roll back to your low back and go the other way. Don't worry about if you're breathing in at one point or you're breathing out at one point. Just breathe. Just stay with the deepest inhale that you can bring into your lungs and the deepest exhale that you can release. Imagine right now, as I said, there's a lot going on in the world, so let's just breathe out any tension, any stress we might be feeling. At least for this class, give your body and your mind a rest and just enjoy and luxuriate in what your body gets to do. Let's go one more time to each side, dropping out, fingers soft. Notice your face. A lot of times we tense around the brow or we tighten the jaw.
Can you just soften and relax into those spaces? And then coming back into center. So bringing our feet a little closer together, let's introduce a Pilates breath now. So from here, we're going to reach our fingertips down as if we're going to touch our heels and do a Pilates half roll up. So for a half roll up, we're going to nod our chin a little bit toward our chest and then begin to bring the head up, roll the shoulder blades off the mat. We want to be gazing at about knee level. If you are looking up at the ceiling, you're going to strain your neck and you're going to end up with a headache more than likely. So you want to tuck the chin in, releasing the strain on the neck, looking toward your knees as you roll up and stretching your fingertips down towards your heels. So we'll inhale, release back to the mat, bringing the head down on your inhale. We're inhaling through the nose. Remember in Pilates, we're going to exhale through the mouth. And as we exhale, we're zipping up, we're squeezing in, we're tightening our center, and you will probably feel your low back push down. That's what we call imprint in Pilates, imprint. We're imprinting the spine down into the mat. Watch that you're not doing this, that you're not tucking your tailbone under. It's not about tucking the tailbone. It's about pushing the belly button down so much that the low back just flattens out. So let's try that a few times. Inhale first. Exhale through the mouth. Tuck the chin. Curl up. Imagine your rib cage is knitting in, tightening in. Inhale. Lower. Back down. Exhale. Tuck the chin. Tighten the core. Curling up. Inhale, releasing back down. Now, if you're comfortable with that, you can stay with that. If you'd like a little bit more, we'll move to what's called tabletop in Pilates. We've got a 90-degree bend at the hips. We've got a 90-degree bend at the knees. We're doing the same thing, the half roll up. So we're inhaling first. We're going to exhale, tuck the chin, curl up, pushing the low back down into the mat. And then slowly lowering back to the earth. Exhale, tuck the chin, curl up, shoulder blades round up off the mat. Arms are drawing down toward the bottom of our mat. Inhale, releases us back. Exhale, tuck the chin, knit the rib cage, draw in. Inhale, draw back. Bring your feet down to the ground. All right, so I'm going to give you another way to really feel that engagement in the core muscles of your abdominals as you're doing this. So if you'll take your block or ball or whatever you found that you can get a little squeeze to, we're going to put it between our knees. We're going to squeeze into it. Now, when you squeeze into it, you should feel your inner thighs tighten and engage. Once the inner thighs tighten and engage, it makes it much easier to feel that engagement and bring it all the way from your inner thighs up and right up into the abdominal muscles, tightening in as well. So let's try the same thing with that. So every time you exhale, tighten and squeeze as if you're going to smash your block or ball in. So inhale first, exhale, tighten in, tuck the chin, tighten into that block, really fire into it so you feel those inner thighs. And then inhale, release back. You can stay there if you want to do the last few in that tabletop position again, you can. Inhale, exhale, tuck the chin, curling up, belly button pushes down into the spine, spine to the mat. Inhale, release back. Going again. Now remember, like I said, if you're looking up at the ceiling, you're going to tense up and stress your neck. Look forward toward your knees. Inhale, release. Exhale, squeeze into that block. And release. Let's do one more. Inhale first. Exhale, squeeze, looking at your knees. Squeeze the block. Give it a really good squeeze. And and then lower, down. Let's bring the feet down to the mat. Okay, now here's where a nice yoga piece fits in really well. If you've really given that block a squeeze of the ball, your inner thighs probably feel really tight now. So we're going to bring the soles of our feet together and let our knees splay open, kind of in a diamond shape. And allow for a nice stretch now on the inner thighs, the space that you were just working on. We'll again take a deep inhale. We're using our yoga breath now, so in and out through the nose. Fill up the belly gets to open now. And release. If you'd like to add a little bit of a stretch for your chest, clasp opposite elbow to opposite hand, and stretch your arms back behind you. This just opens the shoulders up. If that's too much on your shoulders, you can just release into kind of a cactus arms pose. But just opening the shoulders, you'll notice that kind of pops your chest up as well. So get a little bit of a chest opening here, opens the rib cage. We get to open up all those spaces we were just tightening and closing up. So again, this is why yoga and Pilates are so complementary. We work that strength and find that strength, and then we offer stretch to the same area and open it up with a nice deep breath. Imagine your knees getting very heavy, stretching open. And then gently draw your knees together and release your arms. So let's move back into a Pilates move. We're going to stretch our legs out straight along the mat. We'll take our arms overhead. Now this is going to be the full roll up. So we're coming all the way up. Again, if you're newer to Pilates, don't be surprised if this roll up is very difficult. It doesn't look difficult, but it is. So we're reaching our arms long, we're stretching our legs long in the opposite direction. We'll inhale first. Now we're going to use that Pilates breath. Exhale through the mouth. We're bringing the arms forward just like we just did the half roll up, except now we keep going. So if your abdominals don't allow for that yet, you're going to use an elbow, prop yourself a little bit until you get to the point where you can bring it up. And stretching, folding in. Knees might be bent. That's perfectly fine as you stretch in. We'll inhale and stack back up, and we're going to take it down. Tucking the tailbone under. So we're rounding in. If you're familiar with cat pose, think of cat. Think of scooping and rounding through the spine. You can reach the arms way forward to really give you more support. If you're pretty strong, keep your arms up a little higher and make it a longer lever. And inhale, stretch. Now, what don't we want to do? So what we don't want to do is come forward, find that place where we're a little stuck, and make momentum pull us up. Joseph Pilates did not believe in momentum because momentum never really trains your muscles to do the work. So if you get to that place as you roll up and you're stuck, instead, use an elbow, get past that place, and then still make the muscles fight to bring you up. The more you fight, let the muscles fight and do the work, the faster those muscles will get stronger. So let's inhale, lift. We're going to exhale, tuck the tailbone under. We're trying to really roll down. I want you to imagine you could put each vertebrae along your spine down separately as you roll it down. Arms overhead, stretch long. Exhale, bring it up. This is the full Pilates roll up. Folding in, knees straight, knees bent, shoulders soft. Inhale, stack up.
Let's do it one more time, tucking the tailbone under. So again, like I told you earlier, we don't have to do a lot of repetitions. It's not about a lot of repetitions. It's about really being deliberate and paying attention to your muscles and the work that you want them to do, so you can create that without spending forever just doing a million roll up and roll downs. And reach forward. And lift up. All right, so how do we add a yoga piece to this? Well, let's think about our hamstrings and the back of our legs and maybe our low back that might need a stretch. So let's just fold in and stay here. We might be holding our legs, our ankles, our feet. We might be bending our knees to get there. Whatever works in your body. This is your class. It gets to be what you need. And you're not supposed to look like me. I've been doing this for about 27 years now. You're not supposed to look like anyone else. We all have different bodies. And then let's lift up. All right, very nice. So we're going to flip over and focus a little more on our back. So working into our back muscles, let's take swan prep. So we're going to bring our hands underneath our shoulders, forehead to the earth, legs stretched out long behind us. So this is going to be back work for us. We tuck the elbows in, keep them tucked in and close to your body. Gently press down through your hands, but it's not a lot about arm work here. I want you to focus on those upper back muscles. Make them draw in, make your shoulder blades draw together, finding that strength in your upper back. And then as you lower your forehead to the earth, your legs, your glutes will squeeze, your hamstrings will squeeze, your low back is working, and we're lifting the legs up and out. So the upper body comes up, fire between the shoulder blades, working the muscles back there, those muscles that give us nice straight posture. And lowering down, lifting the legs up. Let's inhale, fill up the chest. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Tighten the belly in. Yes, yes, we still have to tighten the belly. It needs to support the back muscles as we work them in Pilates. Inhale, filling up the ribs and the chest. Exhale, tighten the belly, strengthen the back. Inhale, fill up the ribs and the chest. Exhale, squeeze and tighten. And one more time. Inhale, engage between the shoulder blades. Feel that strength in your upper back. Exhale, lift the legs. All right, now, everything down. You might feel a little straining in your back, especially if you're newer to this. So if you do, let's come into hands and knees. And let's bring the reverse pose. So the reverse of what we just did is cat pose. We're rounding and stretching and opening the back. Now again, cat pose is a crossover pose, meaning it's both a yoga and a Pilates pose. So let's use it here as a yoga pose so that we can really send our breath down into those low back regions. Imagine your breath just filling up your body so much that it really opens all those muscles up. And then it might feel good to move your spine a bit here. Coming into, this is cow pose, bringing the spine into extension.
And then moving the spine into flexion. And just feel free to move back and forward. You can use yoga breath, you can use Pilates breath, whichever one you want to use here. Again, the yoga breath is in and out through the nose. It's the deeper, longer breath. The Pilates breath is in through the nose, out through the mouth with that stronger, tightening breath. And then from there, let's soften back into child's pose. Soften your shoulders, forehead to the earth. Relax your head down. Try to release your ankles if that's okay for you. Try to draw back into your knees. If that's too much on your knees, just come forward a little. You don't have to go all the way back. Again, paying attention to what your body needs. This, for the most part, is a yoga pose, so let's breathe deep and relax. For me, I like to gently rock my head side to side and kind of massage my forehead in this pose, just calming my whole body down. And then walking your hands back and coming up. All right, so let's work our obliques. Those are our waist muscles a bit here. So we're going to bring our legs over to the side. This is mermaid pose. You can be here, you can be here. If this bothers your knee, take that leg out. Don't worry about it too much. Just try to get in a position where you can get a bit of a stretch through your hips. We're going to be focused on the waist. So let's stretch the arms out as wide as we can, really opening the chest. We're going to bring one hand down, the other hand up and over. Feel the side of your body get long. Now watch this. Be careful here. We're going to come up. We're going to make these waist muscles pull us up. So don't pop off that hand and let that hand be your momentum. Make the hand let go and make your waist pull you through center. So stretching the other way, we come up and over, big side body stretch. And then once again, I'm thinking about my waist muscles squeezing in to draw me back through my center. So we'll inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Make the waist muscles cinch in and bring you back. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. We're cinching at the waist. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, squeeze your waist. So allow yourself here to play a little bit. Don't get too technical. And I always tell people when they're new to yoga and Pilates, there's so much to think about. You can get yourself so overwhelmed by when am I breathing, how am I breathing, what part of my body am I moving, and you've got to just get out of your head. Get out of your head. Get into your body. Let yourself flow. Your body will figure it out. And the more you practice, as many of my clients tell me, they hear my voice in their head talking to them when they do their own home practice. So as you practice, you'll begin to understand the cues. You'll know what to do. Let's stay here on this side, reaching over so we're getting a nice long side body stretch. Once again, we're shifting out of our Pilates breath. Let's bring it into a deeper yoga breath. Watch your shoulders here. Sometimes we tend to hike our shoulders up in our ears. Soften down, unravel the neck, unravel the shoulders. Let's take this top arm. We're going to arc it down toward our legs. This brings it into a bit of a twist here. So we're reaching around. We're going to look behind us. You might feel this in the shoulder blade, maybe through the back side of your body. Just offering a little twist. Again, if this bothers your knee, just bring that leg out. Stretching in. And feeling a nice stretch through the side of your body. All right, and let's come back to center from there. So while we're here, we're going to stretch into the front of the hips. So bringing your front leg, your leg that we just had bent still, out. We're going to take the other leg, reach it back behind us. We're going to just come over on top of the leg. So this is pigeon pose from yoga. Should feel a nice stretch. This is your hip flexor muscle. We're just opening that hip flexor. And if you stretch back into it, you'll feel your other hip. If this bothers your knee, come out a little bit of it. Roll back into the hip and just let this be a nice stretch here. We don't want to harm this knee. If your knee is okay, come right over top of it. We can lift into a bit of a back bend if your body's okay with that. Or you can just stretch down and take a rest here. So the knee that's bent in the front, that leg, you're probably feeling this on the outside of that leg and that hip. Maybe even up into your glute, maybe into your low back. This is called pigeon pose. This is a great stretch to do if you have sciatica issues or if your hips bother you. If you're one of those people like me who sometimes at night my low back will get achy, this is a really good pose to come to and stretch your hips and get your back opened up a bit more. We're using our yoga breath here. We're breathing deep, opening the lungs up. And then we're going to roll back out of that hip and come up. All right, I'm going to get a little bit of water. Feel free to do that too if you would like. And from there, we'll take our mermaid the other direction. So again, just find the seat that works for you, where you can sit there and feel comfortable. Or maybe not totally comfortable, but not too much discomfort. Stretching the arms out. Discomfort's not a bad thing. We train our bodies to get used to discomfort. It doesn't go into that fight or flight quite as easily. Let's reach up and over. We're stretching the waist. Now remember, we have to pull up from the waist, not from the push off. Don't push off. Release the arm, make the waist pull you through. Stretching over. And pulling back. We're using our Pilates breath. We're inhaling through the nose. We're exhaling through the mouth. Cinching the waist, tightening the belly. Inhale. So as I was saying earlier, you can just use the Pilates breath alone without any of these exercises, and you will find out that you are working and strengthening your abdominals. Most people are really surprised after their first Pilates class how much they feel their abdominals the next day. It doesn't feel like you're doing a whole lot sometimes when you are doing the practice, but you will notice it. Inhale over. Exhale, lift. Let's hold here. Let's find the side body and get long through it, stretching it out. So as we stretch, we're bringing back our yoga breath. Deep breath in through the nose. Deep breath out through the nose. Remember to watch your shoulders. Our shoulders stay down and relaxed. We'll take this top arm. Let's tuck it over into the leg so that we get the pull behind the back and we get to open up our back here. We're looking backward over our shoulders, stretching the neck and the back. Wringing out your spine, doing twists is so important for the body.
So healthy for the body. And then unwinding from there. So let's do one more thing seated here. We're going to release the legs out. We're coming to a wide angle. So this could be a place, if your inner hips are tight, you could use your bolster or your towel, and you can sit up on it to give you a little more room. If you don't have that, you can bring your legs in a little closer, bend your knees, anything that you need to do. But what I want you to do is find your sit bones, those two bony points underneath your glutes, and try to get right up on top of them. That's your seat here. This is called the spine stretch forward. Our toes and our knees are going to point straight up to the ceiling. We're not rotating out or rotating in. We want them going straight up into the ceiling the whole time. We're going to inhale and think of a string pulling us up and lifting us as tall, perfect posture as we can get. When we exhale, we're going to tighten that band around our core and squeeze it in, drop our chin to our chest, and begin to roll the head forward. Now, as you do this, keep tightening the belly back. So, as we go down, the belly doesn't get to just flop out. With each exhale, the belly zips in a little tighter, strengthening, and so it gives us a nice curve through our back. So it's opening the back. So thus, the name of it, the spine stretch forward. We're stretching our spine. And then stacking. Back up. So let's try that. We'll inhale. We'll grow as tall as you can get. We'll exhale. We'll begin to tighten the band around our center as we drop our chin to our chest. Let's round that curve forward, bringing the crown of your head toward the ground. Let go of your shoulders, no tension around the shoulders. Take a breath at the bottom. And then slowly stack back up. Take an inhale, grow a little taller. Take an exhale, begin to tighten in, curving in, rounding in. And stretching down. And then lifting back up. All right, let's see if we can find those inner thighs with a yoga move now. So in yoga, let's keep the spine straight. So we're not rounding as we just did in our Pilates. We're going to lead and lift from the chest. So keep reaching the chest forward. We're going forward. It is not about how low you can go. I don't want you to round and scrunch in just so you can get a little lower. Focus on keeping lots of length, reaching towards me, and just allowing for an inner thigh stretch. Let's connect to our yoga breath. Let's relax our shoulders. And now relax your legs. Let go of your legs. Notice if that changes anything, if you can get a little deeper. I love the saying, advanced yoga is not about how flexible you are. It's about how much you stay connected and present with your body and your breath. So focus there. And then coming back. Gently draw your legs together. Be gentle, be graceful with your body. And I realized we left out one thing on our mermaid side, so we're going to come back to it. So we'll come back to our mermaid on this second side that we did. We're going to flip over and stretch into the hip flexor here. So again, we might be coming right over top of it and really deepening the stretch. If that's too much on our front knee, we're going to just stay rolled back a little bit, taking the pressure off the knee. If you're okay with what we call king pigeon pose, where you're all the way over, lifting the chest, bringing it into a back bend. If you're very flexible, you can lift the back leg up as well. Or maybe it feels good to just melt in and let the ground support you for a few breaths. All right, let's come back up and out of that. Now we won't be lopsided when we end our practice. And we're going to end with something called chest expansion. So if, like I said, if you have a bolster or if you have a towel rolled up or something that you can use, grab that. If you don't have it today, don't worry about it. But it's just something to think about. It kind of adds a nice stretch to the abdominals after you've been working them in Pilates a lot. And we simply are going to place the bolster or the towel right at the base of our tailbone. And we're going to take one last roll down, that Pilates roll down that we were doing earlier, arms in front, up higher, down lower. You choose your level. We're going to roll the spine right down along our bolster, whatever your bolster is. Just making sure once you get back, your head should be on the bolster. So if you've got kind of a short towel, just scoop down on it a little bit because we want your head relaxed on the bolster. We don't want it hanging off the other end. Let's lengthen the legs out, stretching the legs long. Reaching your arms overhead and just get really long for a moment. We're going to bring the arms out to the side and let the arms fall back. So it opens the chest. It's a nice deep opening across the chest. A lot of people like the way this feels on their low back. We're going to go back to one of the exercises we did at the very beginning, which was windshield wiper. So we'll bring our feet to the mat about as wide apart as the mat. And once again, we're dropping both knees over to the right side. And as you let your knees go that way, turn your head to the left side. So turn your head opposite of your knees. Remembering that the neck is part of the spine. It's called the cervical spine. We want to keep the cervical spine healthy because that's what supports our head, and so that's very important. And then come back through your center and allowing your knees to drop the other way, and as you do, turn your head the opposite way. So I'm going to give you a few moments here. If it feels good to you to flow through this and move back and forward like a windshield wiper, feel free to do that. If it feels better to you to allow your knees to fall and stay on a side, do that.
bring awareness to the bolster. Notice that when it lifts your low back as it does, or actually your entire back as it does, it allows you to really filter breath into the front of your body. Often we breathe shallow. And again, especially in times of stress, we breathe shallow. The more you can open your lungs up and find those deeper breaths, the more successful you will be at keeping your body calm. Now we're going to end with a few minutes of final relaxation, known as Shavasana. I'm going to give you a couple of options. If you like having the bolster underneath of you, feel free to keep that there. You can dangle your knees together, if that feels nice. You can stretch your legs out if that feels good. Or you can go back to that cobbler's pose that we were in earlier. If your body's had enough of the bolster, then simply just roll over, move it out of your way, and come back to a space that feels relaxing and feels calm. Let's take a moment here as you relax and allow the ground to support you. Maybe turning your palms up so that you can receive the energy that you've created. Take a few more deep yoga breaths to begin. Inhaling and bringing in all that you need. And exhaling and emptying out what you get to leave behind. What does not serve you? What will not help you through the rest of your day? Breathe it out. Release it. Let go. And then let go of your breath. Let it flow naturally. Let go of your mind. Stop the planning, the listing, the worrying. Give your mind a little break. The thoughts will still be there, but that doesn't mean you have to engage them. If you are comfortable and have the option of staying in final relaxation for a longer period of time, please do that.
Please enjoy and relax. Give yourself that gift. I thank you for your practice. I thank you for your time. Namaste.